In this video, discuss I want to discuss hope and to see, perhaps through this monologue and discussion, this thinking process, to see what is that which we can hold on when everything shatters under our feet. When our foundation, perhaps something uh, foundational to our worldview, has been captured. And now we find ourselves doubting. And I do think that this brings stress and frustration, because oftentimes we are not only challenged with the image of the world we have, but this image that we have developed just gets broken. Um, we just find ourselves miserable, or perhaps we realize the um, we realize that our knowledge and understanding is lacking, that we don't know something, that, well, something in our life is not great, is not how it should be, is not how we want. And so it might be that if it might be that we could fix it. It might be that it could be different, especially when we see this different happening in lives of other people. And so, but what can we do to bring it to our own lives? What separates our image, our expectations, our worldview from the others who got it perhaps better? And so, sometimes we do find ourselves having these questions. And I would suggest that, the need for the hope arises uh, in this low position, in this low state of suffering and misery, and struggle. And I do believe that sometimes hope serves us as the antidote to the desire of just give up, uh, or desire for self-destruction, or even desire, even the other desire, the desire for the revenge, and uh, the yeah. So so let's start thinking, what can it be that we can hold on when everything uh, is just shaken, uh, shattered in our lives? And I would suggest that in a chaos, people grab onto something that is certain, uh, something that is stable. Uh, the basic This basic truth serves them as the most real. So it serves them as something which they can be sure in the most, and that has the higher likelihood of being real, of being true. Um, and what is that which could be true under any circumstances? And I think the basic truth is the the reality of our life, what we have right here, for what we can see. They are senses, something that we can mm, something that is not only exists in our mind, because that which is kind of separated with the matter, we is possibly could be constantly adopted as being just the product, an illusion, the mind, the product of the mind. So I do think that when we are crushed, oftentimes we would try to look around and see what is that which is real, and uh, but the problem is also that we are conscious minds, we're conscious, and um, because we're conscious, we kind of see the world through the relations, through its relation to us. We see the object in its ways, see anything in its ways. We see and understand them in its relation to us and their meaning to us. Um, Not just as they are. We don't even know as they are outside of our consciousness. We can't separate ourselves from our body. And our body is another uh, basic truth that we have. It's our needs. Uh, and the question is also that, of course, you have different needs, you have different desires, you see all the objects around or people around, you see yourself, but and you find yourself in a great struggle. And I think that um, when you struggle, you when you struggle, you want to, okay, you're in the need of eliminating this suffering, eliminating this pain, and your focus, your attention, your perception has a goal in figuring out how to do that, how to fix your struggle, how to fix your insufficiency, how to fix your misery, how to get out of it. And your perception has a goal. You can't just uh, you can't just give attention to anything. You need to give attention to what can be helpful for you. And the good question is, so what can be helpful for you? And what is your attention focuses on in such times? Um, and I would suggest that um, your mind also, or you also try to hold on to something the most meaningful to you and important, uh, perhaps something that answers the most to your uh, needs or to your understanding of the world and reality. Um, and if you can't do that, you your it's something like a slow death where you give up little by little and therefore you isolate yourself. You escape from the problems, and you also, as you escape the problems, you escape finding the solutions, only to find yourself in a more miserable state because your problems didn't went anywhere. They're still there. Mm. And so, what can you do to instead face them? How do you face its problems that you have? Well, first, of course, you have to specify them. You have to know what these problems are. You have to identify what exactly are you dealing with. And you need to search for the better comprehension, build a new sustainable image of the world. Uh, Now, I do believe that there is the reason for being hopeful in this state, and I want to suggest it to you. I think that there's things that uh, can give us certainty to believe to that finding the solutions to our problems is not only possible but uh, should be desired, and believe that there is a possible solution to our problems. There is the problems that could be identified specifically, and solved specifically. That world is not incomprehensive, but and that our reflection and awareness um, has served us a great deal. And you say this is obvious. It's not obvious for everyone. Uh, it's definitely not so obvious for people who are struggling with data comprehension, who find themselves in the state of just doubting about everything. Um, so I want to point out the basic and the most real truths we can and are um, uh, sure of, that we do believe and we act like we believe it. Um, and the first truth would be is the limitation. Um, limitation. So I want to speak about our limitation. As we are born into the world and develop, we start mature, we start slowly to understand that we can get everything that we want. We also know that we want thing, but it ain't just going to provide itself to us. It ain't just coming to us. We don't immediately receive it. Uh, so and the what it means that reality, the world uh, doesn't circle around our, it's not, and perhaps maybe the better way to say it is that it's not about us. um, and this is an interesting thing to understand. We come into this world not by our own choice, and there is some sort of mystery to it, sure, to but to someone else's choice. That we know, and and the more we grow up, the more things they are that we need to understand. But what are the first things we are faced with? We're faced with our wants and needs, our wishes. And we're faced that we need to, or our parents, faced that we need to eat and we need to drink. We need to be cared for, which is important. We need to be nurtured because some people focus, when they think about basic needs, when we think about our basic needs, some people only just think about the food, water, uh, some insects. But you also need to recognize that it's a care, it's nurturing, it's the closeness to other human beings, so to the mother. It is all that relationships bond that plays role in our development. An unnurtured child uh, has a threat for for staying underdeveloped or for yeah. Um, so we have some needs, and and as I mentioned that consciousness consciousness looks at the world through the eyes of its relation to itself. And no, it's not only consciousness, it's also the body. You know, you can't separate yourself from the body. Everything works together for you to stay alive, for you to be able to survive, to have what you need. And this is the whole system that is one, and the processes. And so you your whole body and your conscious self looks on the world through the eyes of relation, on people, on objects, on anything. When it looks at the dark night, it says, what does this mystery mean? What does that and it's kind of presents the questions to itself.